Hello, my name is Luke. Today I'm going to do a video of how to configure Eidolon to use Azure for authentication, as well as how to set up RBAC authorization. So the first thing we want to do is create a machine for our project, and let's run this really quick. Now, right now we don't have any authentication configured for our machine, so we will be able to hit it. So let's change that. So the first thing we need to do is we need to tell Eidolon to use the Azure job processor for our authentication processor. And then if we head back and try to make that same request, we'll get denied. Great, now we need to actually configure this to talk to our Azure application. So if we head over to Azure or Entra, the first thing we need to do is grab our tenant ID or directory ID. And then we're also going to need to create a new app registry. Let's make a new one for the demo. Here you can see we have our application or client ID. Let's head over to our authentication configuration and add those. Great, now let's actually try this out, and we're going to do so in the UI. Now in order to configure the UI, we already have all the information that we need, except for a secret for our application. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to our app registration and go to certificates and secrets and generate a new secret. Make sure you grab the key value, not the key ID. Now there's one other thing we have to do on our app registration before we can use the UI. In the overview, you will see that we can add a redirect URL, and we need this in order to whitelist our application. Just running this locally, we're just going to localhost 3000 API auth callback Azure ID. Now we need to configure our UI to use Azure for a auth provider. We'll start that up. Okay, now let's try to log in. We'll sign in with Azure Active Directory, and I can use Eidolon now, which is pretty cool. Now, what if we want to use Azure for RBAC as well? We can do this by changing our functional authorizer. In this demo, we're going to use a glob pattern one, but you can implement whatever you'd like. Great, so I'm going to head back over to our browser, and now as soon as I refresh the UI, we can see that since I don't have read permissions, I can't see anything. So how do I get permissions? Let's head back over to Azure or Entra, our favorite place. So we're going to go back into our app registration, and we're going to need to add a app role. So this is how we define the roles. We follow globbing patterns, and right now you are acting on all agents, and you can read on their processes. For example, if we wanted to give somebody full access to foo agent, what we would do is we would do agents, foo, processes, and then they get full permissions on that. Now we need to head back over to our enterprise applications. Let's add myself to that read role. And note that you're not going to see the select a role pop up unless you created two of them. Great, now I have the read all agents role. So if we head over to our UI again, I refresh the page, we will actually have an outdated job. So I'm going to sign out and sign back in again. And now I can see my agent. So it's pretty sweet. So we got RBAC running, and we have authentication running. That is how you set up Eidolon with Azure Authentication and Authorization. I'll have links to the different repos that we used in this demo down below. Try it out for yourself.